Okay, guys and girls, welcome to Thursday Diamond Training, brought to you by Stephen Baker. So we're going to be chatting the next 20, 30 minutes on communication, and really how communication, I think, is the most important thing that you have got to learn in network marketing. But I think it's the same in any business. If you're not communicating your message to your customers, you've got no chance of building a successful business. So we're going to go through some real basic strategies that I've learned over the last 7 or 8 years in the industry, and really what to do and what not to do in the business. So there's my beautiful sister Vicky. And I use this picture because I think it says a lot. Like, Vicky is a very smart young lady. She's come from corporate. She's a HR manager. She's led a team of over 50 people for around 10 years. And when she started looking into network marketing, she really had to relearn everything. So I used to tell people, look, you've got to really go back to square one and forget everything that you've learned in the past in the corporate world, and really go back to basics, because this industry is about duplication and doing the very simple steps well. So Vicky's gone back to stage one, and now she's been able to get out of that job after about a year in the business, but she did that by just starting at the very basic level. So she's really gone back to the learning phase. So, but the important thing in this business is not to learn everything at once. So it's good to study and research the industry. I know Vicky did that for a couple of months behind my back before she took the leap and joined the business. But you don't have to learn every single ingredient of every product and everything to get started. So a lot of people sort of ready, aim, and never take that first step and getting into the business, because it's really just about learning the basics and passing that on to others. And the big thing I've learned to do along the way from some of my mentors is, when you learn something new, it's important to put it into practice. So a lot of people go out and learn 100 things. They learn how to prospect, they learn how to do three-way calls, they learn how to present, and they do a lot of and never actually put it into practice. So a massive tip is, when you learn something, it could be something very small, like a three-way phone call. A lot of people think, three-way phone calls are easy, but they never actually take that step and do one. So I listened to there was a 8-minute video on how to do a three-way phone call years ago now, but then I just hooked up with a couple of friends and put it into practice. So learn how to do that three-way phone call, learn the functions, learn the technical side behind that. And it's important to do that in any part of the business. So if you want to learn how to be a better prospector, don't go out and talk to your best prospects in your first day. Ring your enroller, ring your upline, practice a few different scenarios. So you might pretend you're a network marketing professional. So if you've got your one of your downline, practice with them. So pretend, role play different scenarios. Because I bet you if you've practiced 100 times and then they ring that first prospect, they're going to have a lot better chance of being successful. And it's the same as anything in the business. It could be presenting. I was a terrible presenter. I didn't even present. I was with another company for about 4 years. Didn't present once. But then I realized, to be a professional in this industry and to earn the big bucks, you got to become a leader. I wanted to be a presenter, so it was. I practiced in front of the mirror. I practiced at home. I practiced with my sister, and got better and better. And now I can present diamond trainings, because I've just practiced over the years. But it is important to take that step. You learn something. If you read something, put it into practice. So practice with your enroller. You're not going to get turn into a professional overnight, but take your downline under your wing and say, look, let's set up a three-way call. I had a friend of mine, Nathan, on a call yesterday, and he was practicing his 1-minute story over the phone. He practiced about 5 times. Then we had a launch last night, and he got on there and he absolutely nailed it. He spoke for about a minute and a half, nailed his story before I ran an online launch for him. But that because he practiced during the day. So practice, and the big thing about communication, being in a word of mouth business, is you've got to have your store open, and our store is our mouth. So you can imagine if you opened a retail store and you actually put the lock on it, that's exactly the same. If you don't open your mouth, you don't find ways of putting this opportunity in front of people, basically your business is going to be dead. Luckily for us with technology, we've got a lot of ways we can open our business now. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, emails, webinars. We've got all these things available to us now. But don't forget that you've got your mouth when you talk. When you're out and about, open it, talk to people, ask questions. Open up some more doors to your business, because our business is all about attracting people. That's if you're not putting people in front of this opportunity, your business is dead. So attract people in. Once they're attracted in, engage with them, talk to them, get their questions answered, and then nurture. And that's going down the practice, taking them under your wing. There's no point bringing someone in and then not nurturing them and making them grow. So when you bring people into the business, they're like a little plant. A small wind will blow them over. So you've got to build that plant up so they're stronger. They turn into a tree, and then the wind and it might be the negativity that they face with their friends, they're not going to get blown over. You build someone up to be solid in this business. And the other thing I've learned over the years is really to become a problem solver, not a convincer. I have a lot of people that come into this business and they might have a sales background, or they've been great in their job in the past, but them people often fail because they think they've got to go out and sell, where over 95% of the public hate being sold to, and the same hate selling. So being a problem solver and not a convincer is probably one of the biggest tips that I could give people. And you do that by asking questions. And I had some training we all did a couple of years ago about the different personality types. I'm not going to go into that, but if you're interested in learning about different personality types, it is very valuable in the business. So when you are talking to prospects, if you're really scared about bringing up the business, don't bring it up. Your goal is to just find out what that person wants. So you've got to find out who you're talking to, what their main passions are in life, so that you can only do that by asking questions. So if you ask enough questions to someone, eventually the opportunity will pop up. You'll be asking, how are you going in your job? Are you enjoying it? When was your last holiday? Eventually they're going to ask you something where you'll have to bring up the business. So if you go in prospecting and make it all about them, it just makes it so much easier. You don't sound like you're preaching to people. You're not selling something. Asking a lot of questions, make it all about that other person. Inviting and promoting will decide your success in network marketing. How you invite. So I've got this picture here. This man is going to talk to this lady and see if he can get a date. So what he says is going to determine her answer. So if he walked up and said, "You're ugly," he's got no chance of actually getting that girl on a date. But if he goes up, how are you going? You're beautiful. You want to go for a drink? He's got a better chance of success getting her to come on a date. And network marketing is no different. If you're going up to someone and say, "Oh, you should buy this," and you're spewing information on them, you've got no chance on converting that person. But if you go up and ask a lot of questions, make it all about them, you're interested, not interesting, that's where you'll have the better success. So it's like anything. Communication will determine your success. And the 8 tips to improve your communication skills. My sister was pretty proud of this, putting this presentation together. She's still looking at it. She goes, when am I going to get a mention? I've already mentioned this just then. Be interested, not interesting. So a lot of people will, when they're having a conversation, they'll be thinking, "I've got to be the one talking because I've got to be the interesting one." But you've got to be interested in the person. So if you're asking a lot of questions, people love talking about themselves. If you sort of imagine that you're in a sort of a job interview, and you're finding out if this person is a fit for the job, the only way you can do that is asking a lot of questions and being interested in the answers. And when you're in a meeting, your prospect is the one that gets all the attention. So I've been in meetings where I might get distracted, and I have another mate. I go and talk. But if you're with a prospect, they're the ones. You give. You let anything else go. So don't get distracted by anything around. They get all your attention. Be sincere. I love that photo. But when you're talking to someone and if you're nodding, people will get that. If you're not being sincere, people will get that. It'll come through. And if you're not really being sincere, it'll come out with what you say, because you'll end up saying the wrong thing. And don't be forceful. I've had in a live event, I basically had an example of when you feed a seagull, you put the chip out, and they'll actually come and take the chip from your hand, because it looks nice. But if you're actually got a handful of chips and run around and here, eat these, and throw them at the seagulls are going to fly away. That's the same as prospecting. So if you're sitting there eating a chip, it looks nice. A seagull is going to be curious. He's going to come up and want some of those chips. So prospecting is the same. So you're offering the opportunity, putting it in front of people, but you're not jamming it down people's throats and scaring them away. Be proud and have posture. I know this was a lot of young people will come in and they're not sure whether they're going to be successful. They're not sure about the industry, and then most of all, they're not sure if they can do this. They can be successful themselves, and that'll really come through when you're prospecting. So if you're ringing a friend for the first time and sort of saying, "Oh, I've just joined this thing. I'm not quite sure if it's going to work, but do you want to be my first enrollment?" Bang! You got absolutely no chance of enrolling that person. But if someone rings me and says, "Steve, what's this thing you got involved with?" I'll say, "Look, mate, I'm busy at the moment. I'll send you a link. I'll catch up with you later. If you take time to watch it, what's a good time tomorrow? I'll give you a call. I'm too busy today. I'm down playing golf." So if you have posture and you're not jumping down people's throats, so a lot of people attract people to this business, and then as soon as they show interest, they'll go, "Oh, I've got them interested," and then they'll just scare them off with facts and figures. And so have posture, but it is important to develop belief over time, belief in yourself, belief in the industry, and you can only do that by researching, studying, personal development. The longer that you're in this business, the more belief you'll have. It's hard to have belief on day one, but you've got to go through that journey. But surround yourself with positive people that will lift you up, and your belief will come along a lot faster. Be a chameleon. This is something I've learned over the years. There's actually a lizard in that photo, a chameleon. It's something that I've learned. Not one size fits all. So each person is different in what they want out of this business. And when I go to a meeting with a young person that I know might be a bit of a surfer, I won't dress up in a suit, because that might scare that person off. But if I turn up in thongs, this guy's going, "Hey, this guy's pretty cool. He's doing a business and he's only in thongs." And but if I go to have a meeting with someone from corporate, I might put a suit on. Not often, because I don't do that, but I might put a shirt or something on. Make myself a bit more presentable. But adapt to different situations and what people want, and get on people, get on their level. So if you're talking to a baby, you don't go up and start talking about stocks and the economy and stuff like that. Vicky's laughing out in the background there. You might go goo. But when you talk to people, get on their level and really provide them with what they want to know. So asking a lot of questions, never being afraid to fail. That's a massive one. So a lot of people will start the business, but they'll be too scared to go and ask any of their friends because they're afraid of failure. And there's so many quotes and things from basically top entrepreneurs all over the world that you've always going to be fail. Every success has had maybe 1,000 failures. So never be afraid of failure. And I know personally, I ran in the Melbourne Marathon last year, and I was sort of afraid to fail, and I'm thinking, "Oh, dude, maybe I shouldn't even run in it because I'm going to fail." And then there was something that just went, "No, stuff. If I don't actually have a go, I'll never know if I can run a marathon. This is probably my last couple of years. My body's going to let me do it. I'm going to do it." And that was one of the most special moments in my life, getting across that line, 42 kilometers. And I did have those doubts about failing, but you're never going to achieve anything worth achieving in life if you haven't failed first. Now, this is the note that my sister put up, and I read this before I do any phone call. I've read it this morning. I've done some calls this morning. I've read this. My intention is to make your life better. I'm interested in you and what you have to say. So if you have that intention before every call you do, every person you talk to, and you're really interested in that person and you want to make lives better, which what you should be doing in network marketing, your calls will go a lot better when you're actually talking to people. So you want to write that down. I think I've got this recording thing working, but write that down and have that on your wall before you do a call. And you'll just realize that the call, oh my God, that felt so good. I didn't actually say much because the person was talking about themselves so much, but that is a great thing. If you can get off the call and you've talked 5 or 10%, your call, that means your call is done really well. And that's probably my favorite quote from the great man. If you aren't making a difference in other people's lives, you shouldn't be in business. It is that simple. So consider yourself a problem solver. Go out and look for people with problems, and sometimes our products answer some problems, but the business model answers problems as well. So get out there with that mentality of helping others and working on your communication daily. I know I've countless things of personal development over the years, and now it seems like it comes naturally, but putting hours and hours of working it too, because network marketing is like any other business. If you're going to be a builder, you've got to put 4 years of being an apprenticeship before you can build a house. But network marketing is probably the easiest apprenticeship you can do. You can do it in a couple of months, all the stuff you can need to learn, but then you never stop improving over the years. I'm still listening to personal development every day. So I think that is it. Yep, that's the end of the presentation. So I'll stop the recording. We've got a fair few people on board. So if anyone wants to